Hey, it's SilverCreekGameShop.com coming with a pack opening. Here we have 9 different packs. We have some standard stuff, Return to Ravnica, Dragon's Maze, Theros, Born of the Gods. We have Avacyn Restored, Dark Ascension, Gate Crash is Gate Crash, but the real ones, Unglued and the all-foil Shards of Alara block pack. We're going to roll a d10 to determine which of these 9 packs we're opening, and we're just going to re-roll on 10. Gate Crash.
Oh, boo.
That's my favorite.
Next time.
Next time. Hopefully we can get that on blue packs.
Alright, so Gate Crash with a what is this thing? That is the
Vizkopa Guildmage.
Vizkopa. That's right. That's where the Blood Baron comes from. That is Gideon, however it does not count as the actual Gideon card. Alright, so we're going to lay this out kind of like draft style. We have a Cloudfin Raptor, Aerial Maneuver, Spire Tracer, Shadow Slice, Martial Glory, Grizzly Spectacle, Nav Squad Commandos, Verdant Haven, Horror of the Dim, Madcap Skills, Merfolk of the Depths, Gridlock, a Crowned Ceratok, and Lazav, Dimir Mastermind, and a Swamp to go with that sweet Shadow Slice. So, we got the Dimir Guild Leader, which he was just as rad in Limited if you actually had blue-black as everyone thought he would, because he was a 4-mana hexproof guy, much less any of his other abilities. But, blue-black was not always the strongest color to go into anyway. The other things that immediately jump out to me, Madcap Skills was always rad. Grizzly Spectacle, because removal, unconditional removal was always good, but for some reason this card always seemed to go really late. And then Shadow Slice steals games entirely. I'd probably go with a Shadow Slice, just because everywhere I've drafted, the people valued it much higher than removal. The Grizzly Spectacle seems very reasonable. The Crowned Ceratok is one of the best green cards for the Simic deck. And of course, Gridlock is always nice to pick up. Thoughts?
I really like a lot of cards in these pack, actually. Like the Crown Ceratok, yeah, that guy can just get out of control if you just like pull all the right stuff. I also like the Spire Tracer. I know he's like definitely not one of the higher tier picks, but like you always want that evasion. It's kind of nice. And the same with Cloudfin Raptor. If you can get him going early, he can get out of control. And I've been blown out by Commandos a few times actually. His Battalion, if you can get it, can win a game out of nowhere.
Yeah, having Battalion in white alone means you can play, like, the black-white deck was really consistent back then. If you get 1 or 2 extort things, then you have a lot of commons that are very strong in those colors. Martial Glory, it'll usually table because not a lot of people can go red-white straight out of the gate, but this card can blow people out. I remember the Verdant Haven decks were around, but this pack especially doesn't seem that strong for it because you only really have 2 relevant things that cost more than 4 that you'd want to cast pretty early on. Most of these cards are actually really good. Merfolk of the Depths,
yeah,
as hilarious as it was, surprised me every time I ended up getting gifted it, because for a 14th pick it actually won me a few games. But
yeah, I'd say overall just about every card in this pack is pretty fair game.
Yeah, me being the weird drafter that I would, like, it would either, for me, it would be Aerial Maneuvers or Madcap Skills, because I always try to get that one card that's just going to push my creature over the edge. Like, there's a lot of other good cards, like the removal spells are really good. Cloudfin will make it around, unless somebody just overvalues it, which happens a lot.
Definitely.
But, he's good, but he's like a 4th or 5th pick, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and then cards like Madcap Skills, you can pick up, there are a lot of very mediocre 1 and 2 drops, and then stuff like Cloudfin Raptor, like standard playables, were usually overvalued.
Always.
But stuff like Spire Tracer was dramatically undervalued, and you know, once you get Spire Tracer out, they eventually get a flyer like turn 3 or turn 4, and Madcap skills on it anyway makes it, you know, a 4-power unblockable, much less when, even if they do have flyers, they can't do anything about it.
But I mean, I always seen him come around like very, very late.
Yeah.
And this guy, somebody's obviously going to pick up immediately just because he's a mythic. Like,
Yeah,
that's the way it always goes.
It's a trap.
Yeah, it really is. Like,
It is.
Lozov is so good in that deck. The problem is when you open him, because of how good he can be in Dimir, he kind of pushes a lot of people to force it. And although there are a few good Dimir cards, Horror of the Dim is very good in that deck. Gridlock is obviously good. Shadow Slice in the right deck. Grizzly Spectacle in every black deck. But even then, I think it's a lot safer to go with something either removal. If you are trying to force an aggressive strategy, you could go with this slightly miscut Madcap skills, which I don't think you realized when you decided you were going to pick it.
Yeah.
But it
That's pretty cool.
definitely is miscut.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, as you can see, compared to some of the other cards.
Which means you would definitely first pick it.
It would honestly be a first pick for me because I love the oddball cards. I love the miscuts, the misprints.
And I've lost so many games to Madcap skills in limited and constructed.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially since in this limited, most of your removal was 4 mana and higher.
Right.
It usually gets in for at least 6 extra points.
Yeah.
So,
Really, mugging is just about the only thing you have to really worry about early.
yeah, and hopefully, if you're cutting red immediately, because if you cut Madcap skills, the only red they have is Martial Glory, and most people don't like to go 2 colors in their first and second picks. So if you cut Madcap skills, you're probably going to get mugging in one of the later packs.
Yep. That's usually it.
Pack 3, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's our Gate Crash pack opening.
Keep up to date with us, because if we
Yeah.
can get enough people, whatever I crack out of this pack will be given away.
So Unglued, of course, being the most beautiful lands of all. However, the real value is if he cracks one of the halves of BFM, the big furry monster, or maybe, maybe a blacker Lotus. But let's not get crazy. So this is SilverCreekGameShop.com. Any of the stuff we open is going to be available on the website. And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.